Revenge films.
I'm Jack. I've been working for a construction company since I graduated high school. They treat me well, and my boss is like a father. I turned 25 6 months ago and got married to Jill, who I've been dating for 4 years. We are a happy family. But I've never introduced her to my parents. The biggest reason is that I'm not on good terms with them. I hated school as a child, and my grades were always terrible. I was the active type, always out playing basketball with my friends instead of studying at home. My parents always got mad at me for that. My parents would constantly tell me to study more and get better grades. They were both graduates of prestigious colleges, and my father was a high-ranking worker for a big company. Both my parents tried hard to teach me, but my grades never improved. My brother, Bruce, who was 2 years younger than me, was a much better student. He was always at the top of his class. We both went to private school for elementary, but I ended up going to a local middle school, and my brother passed the entrance exams and got into a top-level middle school. My parents began playing favorites after that.
Bruce, make sure you eat a lot to prepare yourself for your big test tomorrow. I made you meatloaf tonight, your favorite.
Where's mine?
What do you mean? You don't have a test tomorrow, do you?
Is this all for dinner tonight?
What more do you want? Eat what you're served, Jack.
Quit complaining. You should be thanking your mother for even making your useless ass any dinner in the first place. No thanks.
Wait, where are you going? Gosh, what a drama queen.
This is stupid. If Jack's not eating, I'm not eating.
Why are you angry, Bruce? I made this meatloaf for you. Have some.
I'm saying that I don't care to eat food that a mean person made.
What's his problem? Maybe he hit puberty.
Even though my parents hated on me, Bruce still loved me as his brother. Damn it, why is it always me? Hey, I'm in this with you. Don't worry about it, Bruce. What kind of mother hates on her own son? I don't want to eat anything that lady makes. Yeah, you have a point. Bruce was the total opposite of me, but he always loved me. We never fought and we always got along. My parents were so mean to me every day that eventually I just stopped going home. After getting into high school, I started hanging out with other people like me. Sometimes we even got into a little trouble. This pissed my parents off even more. It became normal for there to be no dinner prepared for me. And one day, I came home to find that they turned my room into a shed. Hey, Mom, what did you do with my stuff?
Oh, I got rid of all that trash.
Why would you do that? And where's my room?
We don't need a failure like you here. If you want to get into trouble, go ahead. You aren't part of this family anymore.
I'd finally lost my place at home, so I slept on friends' couches for a while. And one day when I was a senior, I got in a fight, and I was walking around town all bruised and hurt. My boss that I work for now approached me. He picked me off the street and started teaching me construction. I left my parents completely and began living on my own after high school. When I was 21, I met Jill, and we got married when I was... I can say with confidence that she is the woman of my dreams. All we wanted now was a baby. But Jill was having a hard time getting pregnant. Jill has always loved children, and she used to say that she wanted a child as soon as she got married. So I felt a little pressured, but I told her that she was still young and there was no rush, and we continued to try. I had a happy life both personally and professionally, but there had been a slight problem recently. It was my parents. Jill was concerned about having never met my parents. She was upset that I wouldn't introduce her, even if we were on bad terms. I could see where she was coming from, so I decided to call my parents for the first time since high school. When I called home, my mom picked up.
Hello?
Hi, it's me.
Jack?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Well, I got married recently. When I told her that I was married, my mother's attitude completely changed.
You're married? What kind of person is she? Is she beautiful? Is she smart?
Yeah, she's beautiful, smart, and cooks the best food.
I want to meet her. Bring her over right away, okay?
I was puzzled by my mother's insistence, but we decided on a date. I told my wife, and she seemed a bit nervous. My parents' house.
I'm getting nervous.
Don't worry about it too much, Jill.
Are you sure?
Here we are.
Wow, what a big house.
Yeah, a big house with no room for me. Man, it's been a while. The house hadn't changed a bit since I left. We opened the door and my parents came together to greet us. My mother looked at Jill and seemed pleased.
Nice to meet you. My name is Jill. Oh, you're so pretty. Good for you, Jack.
Yep.
Come inside. Have some dinner. We can order something if you want.
No, don't worry about it. My parents wouldn't let us leave, so we stayed late for dinner before going home. I apologized for my parents in the car ride back. Sorry we couldn't get out there sooner. You must be exhausted.
No, not at all. I had fun. They're nice people.
Yeah, you think?
Tell them that I'd love to come over again sometime.
I didn't feel bad about Jill getting along with my parents, but I still hadn't forgiven my parents for the past either. So I decided to not worry about it until they called again. But even though they had seemed to love Jill so much, they never called back. It puzzled me a bit. But it was nothing new considering how they had treated me in the past. So I decided not to worry about it too much. A month passed and I totally forgot about my parents, and life was back to normal. But I noticed something different about Jill. I always got off work on time and was home early every day. Jill would always be waiting for me with dinner ready. But recently she's gone often and rarely prepared dinner. I was a bit suspicious. So I decided to keep an eye on her. She would often come home in the evening as if there was nothing out of the ordinary.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
Yeah, where were you?
Just at a friend's house.
All right then, you aren't cheating on me, are you?
Of course not. To cheat, right? You can't blame it completely on the cheater.
No way. Regardless, there's no excuse for cheating.
You think? I'm gonna shower real quick.
Jill had some weird outlooks on life, and we didn't always see eye to eye. Either way, all I could do was take her word for it, and there wasn't much that I could do. She stopped going out all for 2 weeks, then started going out again. The pattern of behavior continued for 3 months, and I realized something. She would always leave at a particular time every month. This was bugging me. Until one day, my brother called. Hello? What's up? How are you? Good. What's up? I'm getting married. We're turning in the paperwork tomorrow. Oh, really? Congratulations. Thanks. So anyways, I visited home the other day, but Mom and Dad seemed kind of weird. What do you mean? I saw someone's sandals by the door, but it was just Mom in the living room and Dad never came out of his room. Yeah, that is strange. Dad adores you. It's weird that he wouldn't even come out to say hi. Right? I was thinking that maybe Dad had a different girl over or something. No way. How could he do that with Mom at home? It's not possible. I don't know, Jack. Would you stop by sometime? I heard from Mom that you're talking again. We stopped by for dinner, that's all. I wouldn't say we're on good terms yet. Mom seemed happy about it. Stop by again for me. And check on Dad while you're at it. Fine. After I got off the phone with Bruce, I decided to head over that night. Jill said she was going to be out with her friends anyways. So I went over to my parents' place after work. I opened the door and saw some sandals that looked familiar. They were the same kind that Jill always wore. But they were kind of generic, and I didn't expect her to be there anyways. So I decided to head over to the living room. As I walked down the halls, I heard some voices from my dad's room. Huh? What is it? It was definitely a woman's voice getting pleased. So Bruce was right. I decided to peek inside my dad's room, and I could make out 2 figures moving in the bed when the covers slipped, and I saw their faces. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was my dad and Jill. I started to panic and rushed over to the living room where I saw my mother. Mom, Dad and Jill are...
Oh, really? Congratulations!
What?
Oh, because today is ovulation day.
She glanced over to the calendar. There was a heart marked on my wife's ovulation date. What the hell is going on?
I told them that they had nothing to hide. But Jill wanted to be sure that you didn't find out.
What are you guys doing behind my back?
We're trying to have a grandchild, of course.
A grandchild?
You're such an idiot. We wouldn't want a grandchild with your genes, right?
Is that why Dad and Jill are...
Yeah, Jill agreed with us.
That's disgusting! I'm never coming back, and we're getting divorced! I won't allow that.
Honey, how was it today? Do you think you were successful?
Yeah, I'm excited for next month. Jack, don't get divorced until your grandchild is born, all right?
It's still our child, Jack. We'll be raising it together. Aren't you happy?
There's nothing wrong with having sex with your husband's father. Especially if you're trying to get pregnant, right, Jill?
Yeah, I agree.
What the hell? So you brainwashed Jill like that? Are you guys kidding me?
It's not like that. I mean, we've been married for a year now, and I haven't been able to get pregnant at all. Wouldn't you rather it be your father's genes than a complete stranger's?
This is ridiculous. We're getting divorced immediately.
Wait, Jack.
I will never allow that. I tried calming down after I got home, but my anger just kept building up. I was exhausted by the time Jill came home. You have some nerves just coming home like nothing happened.
I'm sorry that I was hiding it, but will you please reconsider this? I want to raise this child with you.
Get out of here. I don't ever want to see your face.
Don't be like that. I didn't want to hurt you.
Do you know what you did? You cheated on me with my dad.
You're misunderstanding. I wasn't cheating. I just wanted a baby. Why won't you understand that all I wanted to do was raise a child with you?
Why would I want to raise a kid who's not even mine? Screw it. If you won't leave, I will.
Wait, Jack. Calm down. Let's talk about it.
I ran out and I called my boss. After I explained what happened, he said I could come over. He saw how depressed I was and gave me a beer. A drink always helps when you're feeling down. Just make sure not to drink too much. Come on, it'll cheer you up a bit. Boss, who cares about breaking it off with these parents of yours? You're my son, Jack. Yeah, I have way more respect for you than my own crappy parents. Thank you so much for always being there for me. Go ahead and cry. I won't tell anyone, all right? I'm here for you all night if you need me. My boss and I talked till sunrise. He got mad with me and cried with me. Thanks to him, I was able to accept the reality and got the strength to fight. My boss gave me advice on how to proceed with the divorce. I decided to charge compensation for both my wife and dad. And if she were to get pregnant, I would have to have a DNA test done to prove it was my father's child. And as if I didn't have enough to worry about, something else came up. After a long quarrel, my wife finally left the house. But one day when I got home from work, she was sitting on my doorstep. I had already retrieved her key, so she couldn't get inside, so she was waiting outside. When she saw me, she started crying and running towards me, worried about what my neighbors would think. I let her inside, and she said something crazy. What are you doing here? I thought I told you never to come back.
I didn't get pregnant at all, so I went to get checked up and...
And what?
I found out that I was infertile.
Oh, are you serious?
After you kicked me out, I went to your parents' place. After I told them that I was infertile, they got angry and kicked me out. I have nowhere to go. Please, let me stay. Give me a second chance.
Of course there was no way I could accept her proposal, and I handed her the divorce papers. I ignored my sobbing wife and tried convincing her to sign the papers, but she just left the house. The next day, her parents called me and wanted an explanation about why their daughter had suddenly come home. So I told them everything that had happened. I could tell over the phone that they were shocked. And we ended the call. That weekend, they came over and begged on their knees for forgiveness. That didn't change my mind, and I successfully had the divorce papers signed. I contacted my wife and father through my lawyer to charge compensation. My father called me right after he got the call from my lawyer. Hello? What are you thinking? trying to charge your own father for compensation. We have nothing to discuss. You can talk to my lawyer. You brat! Whatever. I've got the money. Just make sure your next wife isn't infertile, all right? I better never see that useless girl ever again. Got it? I was beyond angry. I was in awe. That was the moment I decided to break it off with my parents for good. Don't worry, I have no intention of ever seeing you guys again. Don't ever try to call either. I hung up the phone and expected to never hear from them again. I received compensation from both my ex-wife and father, and I had a little extra cash. So I was feeling more optimistic about life. And that's when the next thing happened. In the middle of the night, my phone rang, and I picked it up to my brother, who seemed quite shaken. I could tell that something was seriously wrong. What's wrong? Can you drive right now? Yeah, why? I went to bed with my wife, but she was gone when I noticed, and she sent me a message asking for help. She sent me her location. I think she's at our parents' house. At home? That can't be good. What do you mean? I'll explain later. So you want me to stop by the house and check it out, right? Yes, please. I'll be heading over in a cab, but you're closer. All right. I hurried over to my parents' place, and all the lights were off. The doors were locked, so I banged on the door as hard as I could. The lights went on, and my mother appeared.
Shut up! You're gonna wake up all our neighbors! What do you want?
As expected, I saw Lady's footwear by the door. I pushed my mother aside and rushed in. I opened my father's door to find my father with a girl who seemed to be my brother's wife. The girl was fully dressed, shaking. I was glad that I made it in time and got in between my father and the girl. What the hell? Do you have any idea what you're doing? Shut up! You're gonna wake up the neighbors. That's not the point. As we were arguing, my brother arrived. She got a call in the middle of the night from my father and was told that she needed to see her immediately to discuss something about Bruce. She was told not to say anything to Bruce. So she followed directions and went over and was brought to the bedroom. My father had grabbed her and tried to force her to sleep with him and get pregnant. So she messaged my brother for help. My brother was pissed. Things were getting out of hand. I called the police while Bruce was going crazy and explained what was going on. The police arrived shortly, and my father was arrested. We were all questioned, so we explained what had happened. My brother ended up suing my father, and he was arrested for attempted rape. My father was high-ranking at a big company and was a rich 60-year-old man, but after this incident, he was fired and was to pay compensation to my brother. He lost his income and couldn't maintain their expensive house anymore and got rid of it. My mother, who had to live alone after my father was arrested, and kept messaging me to ask to live together. But of course, I wouldn't accept. And she was thrown out to the streets. Everyone in the neighborhood found out what happened, and she was pointed at with dirty looks. So she couldn't live in the neighborhood any longer. She gave up on my imprisoned father and moved to an old house in the countryside. My father lost his status and reputation and has grown old in prison, with nowhere to return. He cries every night with no dreams and hopes left for him. But that was all their fault. Me and Bruce cut ties with them completely. My ex-wife heard what had happened and started saying that she hadn't consented either, and tried to get back together with me. But when we were getting divorced, my lawyer had advised to keep everything recorded, so it was easy to prove their lie. She was also disowned by her parents, by the way, and was living on her own. She was heavy in debt from all the money she had to pay to me and to start a new life. So currently she works as a hostess, trying to pay the money back. 3 years after the incident, I got married to a girl who I work with, and we have a cute daughter. My brother has a child the same age, and we got along great, going back and forth between each other's homes. I was finally happy after cutting ties with my parents, and I hope to take good care of my boss who still looks after me and my family.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave.